Today I have an SAT math tip and trick that deals with the sum of perfect squares. I'm going to illustrate this tip and trick through question 15 from SAT practice test 6. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and with that, let's go ahead and get into this tip and trick. So we have an equation. We're asked which of the following is equivalent to it. We've got a plus b over 2. It's obviously squared. Now what this is this is going to be the sum of perfect squares. If you don't know the sum of perfect squares, it states that. I'll go ahead and give an example with x and y. Let's say we have x plus y squared. The sum of perfect squares tells us we're going to have x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So what that means is we're going to take our last term, and it's going to be obviously squared, and we're going to take that first term, and it's obviously going to be squared, and our middle term then, since we have x times that y, will be that 2xy. So let's go ahead and apply that rule of the sum of perfect squares to this equation up top, this a plus b over 2 squared. We know obviously we're going to get a squared then, and we know that we're going to have this a, obviously it would get times the b in the other equation, and that's going to give us plus 2, because we have 2xy right here. Our xy term in this case would be a times b over 2. And then obviously we would have plus b over 2. Obviously that has to get squared, right? That b over 2, that whole thing has to get squared. Now b over 2 squared like that, that's going to give us b squared over 4 because 2 squared is 4. So that would give us b squared over 4. B squared over 4. Obviously the 2's cancel here, and we see we would have a squared plus ab plus b squared over 4. Now, in this case, when you see this equation, you should be able to immediately recognize that that's going to be the sum of perfect squares, and you should know immediately your answer then would be D. Now, I'm going to go ahead and illustrate this slowed down so you can just see how it works, right? We've got a plus b over 2 squared. Now, I'm going to show it with a plus b over 2 multiplied like this. Now, keep in mind that the form that I'm squaring right now in blue is the same as the part I'm squaring up top in blue, the same as it was written in the question above. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you how I do this, okay, and why this works. Obviously, we could use FOIL or whatever. We're going to do our a times our a. That's going to give us a squared. Then we do our a times b over 2. That's going to give us plus a b over 2. Then we're going to do our b over 2 times a. Now, once again, we see we have plus ab over 2, which is the same as 2 times ab over 2, in which case those 2's would cancel. Now, we've got b over 2 times b over 2. That's obviously going to give us b squared over 4. Okay, now we see that we have 2 of these terms right here, right? I'll put arrows going towards them. So you see that? So obviously we have 2ab over 2. We have 2 of them. We are adding them. So we see our 2's are going to cancel there, and we're going to have ab, a squared plus ab plus b squared over 4. So our answer there is obviously going to be D. Now, you want to make sure that you have this trick memorized, because if you have this trick memorized, then immediately when you see that equation up top, you immediately know you're going to have a squared, which obviously is in a, b, c, and d, so that doesn't help you much. But then you know that you're going to have b over 2. That when that is squared, you know you're going to have b squared over 4. So that helps you get rid of c, helps you get rid of a. And then for your middle term, you know you're going to have 2 times ab over 2, which will leave you with ab. So you know your answer then would be D. And you wouldn't even have to write anything because you have that memorized. So what I'm recommending you do is memorize that sum of perfect squares rule. And if you do that, it's going to save you a lot of time on the SAT math section. So hopefully that was helpful. If it was, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and have a great day.